The fact that you share same parents with someone does not mean that your perspective is the same. You are what you post. So hi guys, I really hope this is positioned well. So welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to multitask right now. Um, anyways, I hope this audio is good because yay, we got a lapel mic. Well. This video inspired by a conversation that I had with a close relative recently, a very close relative of mine, and that really opened my eyes. It was a big eye opener for me, honestly, and it just sort of highlighted how much sometimes we assume that the fact that we share same parents or same roots with people that our perception or perspectives is similar or our reasoning is aligned. And so I was having a conversation with a relative, a very close relative of mine, and I was seeking the person's opinion. And I'm not going to give out any gender because it's not my intention to throw anyone under the bus or put anyone on the spotlight. But because this conversation, I believe, can be generalized, right? And so I was asking this person as to how, what the person's opinion was um, having on parents consulting with their children. Consulting might be a big term. Okay, conversing, right? Communicating with their children when they want to make certain decisions as important as having family, friends, relative over. So I'm typically from an African family, right? And the I'm from an African family rather, and typically the common practice is that sometimes we would have family, friends, relatives come over. And I'm not against communal living. I'm not against community, right? I am 100% for it. But I was asking the person as to what the person thinks about oh shit, I almost gave out the gender. What the person thinks about communicating with your kids before making such decisions as to having your relative over. Because the common thing is 1 minute you would be say a family of five, six, for example, and surprise, surprise, ta-da, your parents would just have you just see a random relative and they're not just coming to stay for a short period. It's not for a short stay, for example, they're 1 week, 2 weeks, which even though irrespective of few days, I think it's important that you still talk with your children about this. Sometimes they even go on to stay like months, years, end up living with you guys for the most part of your formative years. And I was just talking to this person and asking what this person's opinion was on the idea of talking to your kids to through that before the decision is made, for example. And the person was very, very anti that, right? And the person was like, no, that this is like the practice that the Western world has is trying to push on us. So this concept of individualism that we're trying to adopt, that Africans were very communal, were very what's the word now? I don't know, hospitable in a way. But I was like, no, I'm not against helping and hospitality. I'm just saying that I think that it is important as parents because I know personally for me, I saw a lot of that growing up, and I still know I know how I felt about it. And in hindsight, I really wish that these were decisions that my parents discussed with me and my siblings about before they took. And the reason you're doing that is not ultimately to say you are handing down, you're giving them the sole decision making responsibility. No, discussing doesn't mean that you're allowing them make the sole decision, but involving them in that process. To me, I personally think it breeds inclusivity, it breeds respect, or I'm trying to get this. It breeds respect, right? And it breeds a sense of openness and sincerity. And also, like, no, that kids really do not know what they want. That this idea of involving children, I don't like it's very foreign. And I was like, no, you'll be surprised. I have seen a lot of young, brilliant minds, like this generation of this younger generation. Oh Lord, you'll be amazed. Not like I'm just saying, like you would see the mind of a 35-year-old in the body of a 10-year-old. I have conversations with this age group, and I am in awe. I am astonished by the volume of wisdom that these guys have. And so I was like, no. Personally, to me, I think that you're not trying to foist you're not as a parent not trying to force this decision on your children. Helps them to be very transparent with you. So we've had cases of maybe having a relative over and they end up violating your kids, abusing your kids, and things like that. And some of these things go right under the nose, like under the parents' nose, and they don't know about it because these children are not open with them. And so this was just my opinion, right? And that's sort of like, and this person was completely, even after like stating all some of these things that I said, most all these things I said, and even more, the person was like, no, that they don't share the same view. I was like, okay. And that sort of just made me begin to realize or rethink as to how sometimes the fact that you share same parents with someone does not mean that your perspective is the same, or that when you share same roots doesn't mean that your reasoning is aligned. And the same goes for friends, acquaintances. Sometimes we want to infuse our biases, so we have this ideal version of, or this we are very idealistic. We tend to be very idealistic, and I'm saying that because sometimes, even I think in the past when I've taken personality tests, I I don't I infuse my biases or my prejudices into answering the question. So the ideal me that I anticipate. So when I'm answering the questions or picking some of the options, I am stepping in or answering it as the idealistic version of myself and not the real version of myself. And so sometimes, right, when we're relating with our family, we expect that okay, this is how they think, or our friends. And the truth is, that's not usually always the case, most of the times. And talking with them on so ultimately what I'm just trying to say is like sometimes it's important that beyond the superficial, basic, very cordial, casual conversations we have, it's important that we have very real talks, right? Just out of curiosity sometimes, convers topics that will spark divergent views. So you see how the people that you call family and friends reason, right? And that also, and it's not to be judgmental. The idea is not to even try to stereotype people or try to judge people. But personally, for me, I hope this thing is well aligned. Personally, for me, is so that it gives you a buffer system. So you're not shocked. That way, you're not shocked when people give you certain responses or when people have like differing opinion, different from what you assumed that they would think because say maybe you guys share the same or you roots or something. So your values might not align with the people that you consider family and friends sometimes. And so it's important to have those conversations. And I think another thing that sort of like reinforced that was a I saw a post or a screenshot of a lady who was gonna get married in a few months, and the guy she was gonna get married to, like plans and everything was already in motion. And so there was a post about a man who had killed his wife because she did not cook for him. And just out of curiosity, right, or just interest, she was just scrolling through the comment section and just trying to see what people's opinion was about that. Guess what? Her soon to be husband, her fiance, was in the comment section and cheering that person, applauding that person, and gassing the person up for doing that, committing such a heinous crime, such an outrageous thing. And and so her action was that she blocked him and she called off, obviously called off, it's a no-brainer. She called off the engagement, right? But one thing that I would have done differently is like she ghosted the guy, she blocked him completely and asked her family and friends to do the same. I would have told him my decision for why I did that and go ahead to stick to it, definitely. But I just think that because personally for me, I think that you cannot distinguish or distill your personality from what you post. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. You are what you post. So the fact that he can say that means that there's a propensity, high tendency, high probability for him to do that. So he didn't want to put himself in such a dangerous position. Definitely no. So all I say this to say, the long and short of this is that I think it's important with your family, with your friends, have mm, serious, heavy conversations. What just to trigger conversation, communication or conversation or just view to know their views, right? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? That way you're able to buffer any kind of surprise. So yes, that's what this yap has been about. Anyways, if you have any contrary view about what I just said, please share in the comment section and tell us why. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Let me get back to my cooking. Bye.